The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting group. Get involved with Access Fort Wayne and make your own television programming. Call 421-1250 to find out more.
Imagine this is your home, morning when you get up, afternoon, evening, night when you go to bed. Imagine it's 10 degrees out. Imagine you have no money, no place to go. Imagine that instead of your fellow humans helping you, they feel ashamed of you. Imagine they don't even want to look at you. Out of sight, out of mind. Imagine not only that, they don't even want you to eat. Imagine you live in a country where in over 20 cities and counting, you'll be arrested if you dare commit the hideous crime of feeding a homeless person. Imagine that it's their policies in the country that have put you in this predicament, and they blame you for it, calling you lazy, worthless, not deserving of help. Imagine you're homeless and penniless, while others your age make millions for playing a game. Imagine you're eating out of dumpsters in the richest country in the world. Imagine. Imagine you're a child. Imagine many claim this to be the greatest country in the world. Imagine there's a solution, and your city prefers punishment, threats, and eviction. Imagine.
The personal stories. I know I personally have been touched going to the rescue mission. I didn't realize the severity of the issue in Fort Wayne until I was there personally. It was on Christmas Day last year, and I was covering one of the meals at the rescue mission, and there was a little boy there, and I asked him what was his favorite part about Christmas, and he said coming here to get a meal. And it was Christmas Day, and most kids would be like opening presents with their parents, and he wasn't even there with his family.
Over the years, I've seen them dole out tens of millions of dollars in corporate welfare. Now, if we can afford tens of millions of dollars in corporate welfare for a huge hole in the middle of downtown, what we can do is we can take care of our homeless community here.
Yes, sir.
We can shelter them now. It's up to you guys. All you have to do is tens of millions.
That is a shelter, a family, someone on the streets. We are here for you. We get donations from Fresh Time Farmers Market every Saturday and Sunday, and we take boxes out to addiction homes and people on the streets and at-risk families. There's no qualifiers for the food that we're giving out. It is for everyone. And you can find us on Facebook at Food Not Bombs Fort Wayne, or come up to us and give us your information. We really would like to link up to you. Something that we've also been thinking about posing an idea in the community is recycled tiny homes for these homeless people. Now I know that as far there will be complications and issues that we run into as far as people not really wanting to see those tiny homes on the streets, but it is an idea, and there are people that are doing it across the country, and it's working. And it is helping those people that are homeless on the streets that don't want to go to shelters because they've had experiences like we've heard today, and it's helping them. And so I think that it's something that we should seriously think about doing, getting together as a community, taking some of the trash off of our streets, and getting those homeless people sheltered.
I was homeless for 5 years. So basically, I was at the rescue mission, and God gave me my life back. And then he told me, he said, now since I fixed your life, I want you to go out and help somebody. Show them that there's a better way to live. And we created a place called the Positive Recovery House. And we've been open for going on 4 years now. And I heard Patti J say something about the funding. Well, basically, the men that I have, I got 10 men there now. 5 of them are park center. Patients are park center. 3 of them blue jacket. My question was, how do you find funding to help with these men that have nowhere else to go? And we let them in. No money, we just tell them, say, well, come in. That's right. And the way that we can stay open right now is through Wayne Township. What they do, they come in, they stay, they have to be there 30 days, and then they go to Wayne Township. Wayne Township do not pay their rent. Wayne Township will give them a voucher, $100 maybe, most of the was $200. But you have to be there a month. But basically, if it wasn't for the Potter's House, now these guys would be at the mission. And the reason they're not at the mission, they got put out of the mission. You can only stay at the mission for 14 days. And then you have to leave. And to be totally honest with you, I wasn't going to say this, but I might as well go ahead since I got the mic. I got put out the mission. And it wasn't because I was there living. It was there. The reason I got put out the mission, they told me that I was a conflict of interest. Because I come down, I get people, I take them to church, and then after service, I ask them, I said, have you ever heard of this place called the Trinity or the Potter's House? And they say no. I said, well, let me take you by and show it to you. So I take them by and I show it to them. The first thing come out their mouth, what do it take to get in here? Well, I tell them, I said, well, you already done the first thing. You came to service. You showed an interest that you want your life to get better. And I said, the only thing you have to do now in order to come into the Potter's House is be willing to follow the rules. And we got a pamphlet and we show them what the rules are, and basically that's how they get in.
The Vincent House program, they didn't help me find housing. I had to find it on my own through PNI. I was actually exited from the program when I was packing up the things in my room to leave. Their RA that was in charge, her name's Shirley, went through my garbage and found a candy wrapper. So technically I was exited from the Vincent House. I didn't leave on good terms. So I didn't receive any of their aftercare or anything like that at all. I was just let go. I think if you're going to donate, you really need to make sure that you know where it's going.
My question is, how many have actually worked for a mission or an entity that's trying to do something for the homeless? You've seen it from a worker standpoint, not a director or anything like that, but somebody that's been doing the legwork and trying to understand what they're going through.
I'm the vice president of a local community housing organization. So.
Okay.
I used to be RA of this house.
My thing is, what she's saying, I've actually seen
I
it.
have done that.
I've seen things get picked over by the employee and they get stuck with what's left. I've seen that. So don't beat her up. Understand that she's saying it from an experience she's had. This is not something made up. It's best to face it and deal with it. It ain't gonna get no better until we do deal with it.
Amen.
That's the bottom line. That's a living soul right there.
Amen.
And the Bible tells us that the least you do to these my little is you do it to me. Don't ever lose sight of that or you're gonna be ineffective.
Amen.
You know what? That's a very, very valid point. But that doesn't happen everywhere. It does happen. We have to, no, I agree. We have to start acknowledging it and we have to start dealing with it. You're absolutely right.
It's not gonna help.
But we gotta be careful too, not to paint too broad of a brush because there's a lot of organizations that don't do that too. And Marissa, I applaud you. I think you were so very courageous. So very, very courageous.
Let's get this gentleman comment here.
Indigent care falls to the township trustee first.
Yes, that's right.
Is there a board that just
I don't think
specifies?
the city should be left to handle
Right,
that.
I just didn't know if there was a board that just specifically focuses on, okay, the direct needs of the homeless and
And there is a plan for coordinated community response what somebody was kind of asking about earlier, and I was going to respond to that the Area Planning Council on Homelessness is working very hard to do just that. They're trying to get a coordinated response so that we can have people call one phone number, give us a little bit of information, and send them to the appropriate shelter. So just know that people are working out here, working on these things that you're talking about. We are thinking about it. If you're interested in coming to that meeting, get a hold of Tiffany Bailey at the United Way, because she is the person that runs that meeting, along with Rebecca Karcher at the City of Fort Wayne. So we do have a lot of people working for a lot of the things that you're talking up here about, so please reach out for that information.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi. I'd like to know that if I was homeless and out on the street, that when somebody brought me a pair of gloves, that they would also hand me a pamphlet that would tell me where I could access somehow. And I don't know that there's anything like that to give to the homeless.
Actually, there is, but again, it's not a very well coordinated effort among the agencies. And sometimes whenever I was out there for the first 24 hours, I didn't know. I knew of some other resources, but I purposely timed the start of my adventure to Sunday evening when I knew that all the public buildings would be closed. That way I couldn't cheat, and I really wish I could have cheated. I actually was hoping, I slept under the bridge, under the Martin Luther King Bridge, and I really had hoped that a police officer would come down and harass me just so I could call the police, because it was just that bad. But there is, the Rescue Mission has a pamphlet, other agencies have pamphlets. The problem is it's just not a very well coordinated effort. I think personally our police officers, if they're going to be kind of checking things out anyways, they could be doing some double duty, passing out these pamphlets. And Food Not Bombs does a really, really wonderful job at 3 o'clock on every Sunday down at the Library Plaza. They're giving away food, and they're also giving away resources. Sally is awesome. She coordinates some of the best work down there. And this is your go-to gal when you're on the streets. It really is. And so I kind of passed the mic to her, because she's just better on it.
We have someone else here.
Yeah, Joe, go ahead.
I'm Joe Renner. I was at the city council meeting where Jeffrey Lane challenged was a Basche issue. I took it and failed miserably also, by the way. I seen them dole out $9 million for a total of 2 jobs at that very same meeting. Over the years, I've seen them dole out tens of millions of dollars in corporate welfare. Now, if we can afford tens of millions of dollars in corporate welfare for a huge hole in the middle of downtown, what we can do is we can take care of our homeless community here. Yes, sir. We can shelter them now. It's up to you guys. You all you have to do is tens of millions of dollars. Well, do something for those the most in need, not for your buddies in your life. Thank you.
Well, quickly.
To answer somebody else's question, first of all, thank you for speaking up about the Area Planning Council. My name is Kenneth White. I'm the Secretary of the Libertarian Party of Allen County, and I'm also the Vice President for Harlan Communities, which is a CHOTA organization certified by the federal government. So, first thing, one, to answer your question, Adult Protective Services is technically run by the prosecutor's office and was merged to the prosecutor's office probably about 8 years ago, because Karen Richards decided that she could run the office better than a separate unit. So it is primarily regulated to mental health issues and to child support issues, typically. If you want to get more active Adult Protective Service, either separate it from the prosecutor's office by state mandate, or go ahead and set up a separate division for that specific issue within the existing mandate. Second, the community tiny housing. There are a bunch of frat boys down in Alabama who have actually put together $5,000 mini houses on trailers. And they put this up in 25 of these trailers, tiny houses per acre, with community gardens on each acre. It would not be that hard for us to spread these out throughout Fort Wayne so there was no density population. But if you run the numbers, given or taken, 2,500 minus 30% that are already receiving full services leaves us with about 1,750 that need actual current services. it roughly runs into a tenth of what is spent on the project at Ashburn to put all of these in place for the current existing quite fluid structure that we already have. So there are solutions out there. You need to look at all of them. That's all I'm asking. Look at all of them. And from a political standpoint, aside from the fact that there are several city council candidates out here, and I am obviously also political, I would also say that city council really needs to stop tripping up and choking on their own spit when they talk about this issue. It shows bad leadership. That's not just to you directly, but that's to everybody. Thank you.
The main thing I think we all need is love and acceptance. And if we can have a place that the homeless can go to and feel that love and that acceptance, and do a little bit of training, you know, like some martial arts training to raise their energy, to make them feel good. If they feel good, they're thinking good. If they're thinking good, you know, you magnetize good things in your life. So I really, really believe in what I do. You can look up Basche Martial Arts and read all the positive testimonials. I've been doing this for 30 years. And I believe wholeheartedly that God put me here for a reason. And I asked him to bless me at this school. And when he blessed me at this school, I said I was going to do great things. And I wanted to leave a legacy. And I want to do that here in Fort Wayne. And I know without a doubt, if, let's say, for example, Wunderkammer had me here twice a week, 2-3 days a week, I will teach free karate classes to the homeless. And again, it's not physical training. A lot of people think karate is this brutal, oh, kick butt. That's all you learn how to do. There's a lot more to it. Okay, there's a lot of the character development aspect. I teach the discipline, the respect, you know, all these positive areas. And I can guarantee you if once I start teaching these classes, you'll notice a big change. And I say that very humbly. God be my witness. Thank you.
I just want to encourage encouragers. I just want to encourage those who serve. It's not always easy, and if your heart is full of compassion, sometimes it's hard to keep looking at it. But I'm telling you to go on anyhow. Things will get better if we all just keep trying. I just want to inspire those that, and smash stigmas tonight. You know, it could be you that's homeless, and when you see a homeless person, don't turn your head. Turn to them and see what you can do.
Exactly.
That was very good. You know, we've discussed a lot of issues today, and there's this underlying current of frustration amongst so many because we have a lot of spending going on that a lot of us don't understand under the guise of economic development or downtown development. And it is frustrating when we're spending $1 million on downtown beautification and we can't spend a fraction of that towards this homeless situation, a situation that's been going on for who knows how long, and a situation that's going to continue to go on if we don't start actively as a community working on all the different segments of the homeless population situation. There's just a lot going on, and we all need to get into this together. We're a community. Whether we have homes, whether we're living on the street, we are a community. We need to come together as a community. Everybody that's spoken up here has done a really, really wonderful job, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you, especially Amanda for bringing Marissa. Thank you for that. Sally for all the work that you do. Victory House for all the work that you do, and for everybody who came here, who's taking notes, who's videographing, who's trying to do their part to understand this problem and to help solve this problem. To all of you, thank you.
And I would want to remind you that I don't think it is as simple as tiny houses. I don't think it's as simple as tent cities. That's still a person without an address, without a roof over their head. The only thing that changed was the scenery. So the day that you think that changes homelessness, I'm going to tell you I don't believe it does.
difficult and sometimes uncomfortable to have these community conversations, but it's important that we do that. It's important that we come together and talk about difficult issues in this community and work toward making this a better place for all. Thank you all for being here and joining in this conversation.
I just want to thank everybody for being here today. I've stayed fairly silent to the background. I'm working on some other things that I don't want to talk about yet. But it was Dan, who is ill today, that connected me with Marissa last night. So I want to actually give credit to Dan for that, for bringing her here today.
I would like to thank everyone for being here. I've been a learner today. I've learned from almost every comment that was made today, and I'd like to encourage all of us to be learners as well as servers. We like to feel like we're generous people, but very often what I'm giving is small compared to when I work with people. I have one guy who rides a bike 15 miles from the edge of county to work with me. And when he can't ride the bike because of ice and snow, he was walking for 2 hours. I've learned a lot from him because he's had so many different jobs in his life. And he's a giver, and I suggest that as we give, we always keep our ears open and we learn.
Did you want to say something?
And thank you, Terry, for putting this event on.
Thanks. Well, my pleasure. A lot of work, but worth it. I thank everybody for coming. You guys are great. Mr. Ortiz, did you want to say anything? He's from Senator Donnelly's office, and he's here even if we don't get a chance to talk to him. I have his contact info and would help us maybe with a federal grant for some of these ideas that we're talking about. Is that right? You want to say anything to that?
Yeah, so Terry said I'm on Senator Donnelly's staff here in Fort Wayne, and Terry and I had a chance to meet at another meeting a few weeks ago at Citizen Square. And I came here more in a fact-finding mission, just to kind of hear some of the discussion. And of course, if that's an opportunity where the Senator can help, whether it's running a federal grant or looking at HUD programs more closely, we'd be happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. I started with the idea of Utah. If you've signed our list, which I don't know where the book got to, I can send you some information. Here's a big article about 13 people that got free apartments and how they changed their lives around. Here's a graphic, the state of Utah. How did they do it? No strings attached. See, this is the key. I mean, you have to give people a chance. And like Sally, I don't even know what to say about Sally. I mean, you have a job and you still go out every week and work with people that have tremendous needs. And she's beautiful, thank you. But all of you are, every single person. Because she's one of the first people I discovered, so to speak, in terms of working on this issue. Terry Anderson, I've known a long time. He does a lot of things for a lot of organizations. I do want to say, that reminds me, you're talking about the downtown church, that Pastor Gary Erdos at Trinity English is working on a program to open his church downtown to people without shelter, to give them shelter, and I think at some point he'll be on one of these shows to talk about that. I think that's what a church should do. He said we feel we have a responsibility to all of our neighbors, whether they live in a condo, a house, or under the bridge. I love that statement. And that speaks to the fact that we are all connected. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Terry.
Looking at me, would you guess I stay at the Fort Wayne Rescue Mission? I'm a recent Blue Jacket graduate, and I work in the kitchen with Chef Don down at the Rescue Mission. And we're always grateful for what comes in, because